Hello and welcome. Today we've got Michael Jaco, former CIA, and we will be discussing the things that you put in your arms and the thing, everyone knows what are we talking about. We're going to be speaking about Mr. T. I will be speaking about magnetics and stuff like that in the human body and what's really going on. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to my Telegram channel and to nicholasveniamin.com for my free email updates. And I will leave Michael Jaco's links below in the description so you can also follow him as well. Now, if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, I will leave the link below in the description for the full interview if we choose our words wisely due to the censorship that's happening on YouTube. Michael, thank you for joining me. It's such an honor to have you back. How are you and what's been happening?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me again, Nicholas. It's always a pleasure to come on your show. Like we were talking about, you've had some amazing guests, and I'm glad to be part of that. I've had some amazing experiences working with people, talking about the latest stuff, doing shows, and my clients and stuff like that. I get a lot of information. One of the things that, I heard Michelle Fielding talk about was that there was a lockdown that appeared, because I've seen a video of it. I've seen pictures of the building downtown in Washington, D.C. It's a 3-letter agency. Basically seems like it's locked down. And when I remote viewed that initially, I saw people inside moving around. So I was like, I don't know. I don't think it's locked down because I see movement in there. And then when I've looked at it again, it seems to be, there are still certain personnel from that agency that are still there, but most of them are military. And like Michelle Fielding said, also that it seems to be these lockdowns are kind of hiding some activities that are going on in these in like the cities there in UK and the city here in Washington, D.C. There seems to be tribunals going on. A lot of people have talked about actually being involved in them, and a lot of people that I know have said that they were happening. So it seems like they're wrapping people up, and some of these bad agencies that have been have had bad actors in them. And I've always said it wasn't just the top guys. We talked about, I see on the news channels where they say, oh, it's just the top 1%. And I'm like, no, it's not the top 1%, because I've worked with these people, and it's infiltrated all the way through all these organizations. And yes, there's good people in them. There's absolutely good people. And I used to be one of them. And I used to work with a lot of really good people, but we could see there were some people on doing some dark programs. And because we didn't have access to that, everything's compartmentalized. We could only see these things that they were doing, from a distance, but it was very obvious they were doing very negative things, and things that really didn't support our country.
Absolutely. So, I was thinking the other day, actually, if the bad guys are so corrupt and they control the 3-letter agency, the Food and Drug Administration, why didn't they pass the thing that the thing that they want us to put in our arms? Why didn't they pass that at least illegitimately?
So initially, and I think this has happened in a lot of places all over the world, there were a positive stuff that was going in the arm. And the people that were in charge at the time were making sure that was happening. Once they were replaced, I know people within a lot of these organizations that have told me they had bad supplies that they were going to make sure they were distributed. And it seems to be people were having some adverse reactions, some of them fatal, unfortunately. And some of them we've heard from top epidemiologists and so forth that, you really have to be on your guard, whether you're going to, get that or not. You really need to do the research. So I think that's what a lot of people are starting to be aware of. You have to be really careful, how you talk about this stuff. I was very, very careful. I had, unfortunately, a video that I put out, and I was like, they said those words. I went back and I deleted that from YouTube, but not before they had gotten in and actually saw that there were some problems in that video and gave me another strike. So even though we can put stuff out, even though we think that if we go back in very quickly and get rid of the stuff, that they're not really paying that close of attention, they definitely are. I mean, it's algorithms. You have to be very careful, as we know. And some of the words that we could get away with in the past, you can't get away with anymore. So as this Nazi system basically exerts itself more and more throughout all of the different social media sites and so forth, we have to be aware that that could be taking us down. And everyone's having this problem. Even people that comment on their social media about other things that they've seen, they get strikes. So it's frustrating all around. But we just learn how to talk about it in different ways. We can share information, so almost in code. Like when I was in SEAL teams, even though we had encrypted satellite systems, we still talked in code. So you have to constantly have that kind of a defense against their offense, because they're very offensive right now. And and I don't like to play defense. I like to be the offensive guy. I've always taught that. I've always been that kind of person. But I think that working around their systems is kind of like offense. So that's I think you're doing an amazing job of it. There's lots of people that do far better job than I do talk around this stuff, because like I said, I'm a very offensive guy, and I don't like to be told no. Just like you tell me no, I'm coming at you. But it has consequences. So we learn to talk around stuff. We learn to share stuff. It's very obvious. Everybody's like, "Oh, you must be over the target." Well, that doesn't help me now, because now that I've lost a 200,000 subscriber channel, now I have to work up to that, and then that gets taken away, and I'm working up again, and that's been shut down. And so I started another one. So we just keep at it. And I think that Alpha Sony had a really good post where she talked about how alpha males were not the guys that go out and brawl in the bars, but the guys like you and me that basically can see that there's a need for information being shared. And we really put ourselves out there to do that. And we risk, being taken down or losing our livelihood, because, when you're at 200,000, whatever you're promoting really gets out there, and it gets a lot of promotion back, and when you go from 200,000 to 5,000, it's a big difference. And so we're losing our livelihoods. But we're still at it. We're still staying focused. We're trying the best that we can to help humanity. That's definitely an alpha type person, not necessarily a man, but also women can be alpha as well.
Absolutely. You have the alpha female and the alpha male, and it's all about the thinking process. You stand by your morals and principles, and you understand. By speaking in code is a diplomacy thing. Where you have to be diplomatic, and you understand that it makes you a stronger character, and it's challenging, and we enjoy these challenges. Absolutely,
Well
I love
said.
it.
That's beautifully said. Very good. Very good.
So
Very diplomatic. You should be a diplomat.
I'll wait for Mr. T to employ me.
There you go.
So what I'm thinking is that these 3-letter agencies, Foxtrot, Delta, and Alpha, okay, these 3-letter agencies, I'm assuming that Mr. T and the white hats are in control of these 3 letters agencies. They're exposing them. And that is the reason why Mr. T says, well, I pushed them hard. And that's maybe why they had to follow a proper process, and he made sure that they would follow a legal, proper process. And that is the reason why, um, the things that we put in our arms are experimental and emergency use only. Because had it been in complete control of the bad guys, I would assume that because they're corrupt anyway, they would have passed it illegally and approved it completely illegally. Therefore, they would have been able to mandate it. So would you say that's the reason that the white hats are in control of the three-letter agency?
Oh yeah. And so I saw this coming, that they would start to be taken down about a year ago, and I have contacts that have verified that. So there's definitely a movement within those organizations. I think as we're seeing, there in Washington D.C., where that one building is boarded up, they're they're being shut down. And like I said, I have people that have told me that when I remote view it, I see it, and it's for the better. And it's not just here in America. You have organizations there in UK that are intelligence agencies that actually went after Mr. T. And we know that they're involved, just like our three-letter agencies in social media, and they are controlling it and manipulating. And like you diplomatically said, we just learn, to that's the way you guys are working. That's fine. We'll be nice, and we'll talk about it like this. And it seems to get around, so it's like it's no big deal. We don't, but in a way we do. So yeah, the agencies, I know that because they used to press on me when I got a little bit out of line, and now I'm doing a lot more, a lot more than I ever did, and I have no blowback at all. So there's definitely a downgrade that's going on that side. And like I said, people have told me, yeah, there's confusion. There's things that were in process as far as what they were working on that have been shut down. So everyone doesn't know what's going on, but I do, and some other people do. It's being shut down. It's been managed correctly now. Now the defense has their own agency, the Defense Department, and that was more recently established. I think like maybe about 15 years ago. I remember when it was established. It was a little bit different. There's a NSA, DIA, and so forth. So both of those agencies, from my understanding and from working with those groups, are only up and up. Of course, everything gets infiltrated to a certain extent, but they're pretty solid, and they have been informing, I think, the white hats, and keeping things moving in the right direction. You're not always going to get 100% people that are involved. Everyone thinks that the military is completely on board with this. No, you could not bring all of the military on board, because there's just, first of all, when I was in special forces, there was only a very, very small fraction of us, like less than 1%, that were involved in certain missions. And you didn't tell everybody because, the security, like we just talked about, security is not that good. Even though you have encrypted information, you still talk in code. And we learned that from, the Third Reich, where they had a system that they were using that we basically, broke that system. And that's something that we have done to the black hats. We broke their system just like we broke the system before. So they have been talking openly about a lot of stuff, and now they're in trouble. And that's been their downfall quite a bit, as it was from that previous war. So they didn't learn their lesson, because they're not creative like we are. We are the most creative beings that there are. Humans are very, very creative. And I've said this for years, that the reason why they want to enslave us because they can't do the things they do without us, because we're the ones that create. And as we break free from their system, which we're doing on a massive level right now, that's their downfall, because they can't create the control systems that they used to have, because we're breaking free. And that's We see all the movies where, if people would just turn and go against the machine, they would win. And that's what we're seeing, because they can't resist us, because we're incredibly powerful.
Absolutely. Like Alex Collier likes to say, we are genetic royalty in the cosmic. And
Absolutely.
they want to use us to create for them.
Mm.
Yes, we have to, all have to learn the love frequency and make that a habit for us to vibrate that highly and love and respect one another. Absolutely. So it's been actually a week now since it was Mr. T's birthday. And I heard from a congressman, a verified account on Twitter, that the checks in the states that are being recounted are going to be completed on his birthday, or maybe just after his birthday. What's the situation with that? Because I know as soon as the information does come out, the MSN will do everything it can to stop the information coming out. So, what are you hearing about that? And when do you think we will hear an announcement?
So the problems within that were far more massive than many of us even thought, from what I'm getting. And so they have to keep that on the down low until they share that with more people that have been waiting for it, and that can be distributed. That goes to more states. Like I said months ago, that every state would probably have a look at their tallies a little closer, and that seems to be happening. There's like 20 different states have come in to look at the way the system was run in Arizona, and I think that going forward, we'll see a lot more. There's only 3 different states that, if they turned, which they will, would flip this thing very quickly. The process is the thing, because there's a legal action that the dark hats basically know how to manipulate the judicial system very, very, very well, and they have stonewalled this thing for months and months and months. So all the ducks have to be lined up just perfectly when they finally do the reveal, because they're going to come after that, and they have all kinds of different ways to come after that. They have, control of the press, they have control of different legislatures and different capitals, and mayors and governors and so forth. They're all on board with this problem that we're seeing with the government. And once that really gets resolved for more people, we talk about percentages of people. 107 has talked about percentages of people. Michelle Fielding's talk about percentage of people that are more aware that we see, this thing hit that tipping point, like Malcolm Gladwell talked about in his book, The Tipping Point. And we're very, very close to that point. We've all been like, when is it going to go? When is it going to flip? When is it going to tip? And it's like, this is going to tip it. No, that didn't tip it. What's going to do it? So definitely what's tipping it already before it even gets revealed is the real numbers on that last little tally. Right. So once that tally, just a few of those numbers really starts to get revealed, which some of them already slipped out, but they're not they won't say no. They won't say yes. They're playing their hand close to their chest right now, and they're not letting it out. But I can tell you, like I've known all along, that it's going to be a massive reveal, and that's going to be the domino that basically, kicks this thing and finally puts it over. When does that happen? I kind of like what you kind of said, 3 months out. 3 months seems to be closer than, August, because a lot of people have said August. I don't know about August. So dates are very, very, because it's like we talk about the conscious thing. Consciousness can flip very quickly, or it could be like it is right now, taking time. And I was on Ann Vandersteel show recently. She asked me, about this, and I said that when when I check in on Trump, that his consciousness is concerned about, this, his consciousness is concerned about our consciousness, because he's a lover of humankind. And he sees that it's taking a little bit longer than all of us anticipated. But it is moving. It is going to move in the right direction. There's nothing stopping it. Nothing will stop it. And
Nothing will stop it. Yeah.
absolutely nothing. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's interesting you say that consciousness can just flip, because that is the real time. Because time, as we know, it doesn't really exist. It's just an illusion. Right. But what speeds things up or slows things down is up to us, the consciousness. Now, according us truthers, it's been a crazy year. But to the people who are, asleep, to them, they've just seen a peaceful transition of power on the 21st of January. That's what they see. Now, when the reveal happens, how crazy do you think it will be? And what crazy things do you think will happen that the Black Hats will try to, instigate?
Yeah, they've already had the the threat of the Black Lives Matter and Antifa and stuff like that. That's part of their game. They showed how effective they could be with that, and so that's kind of a threat. There has been a threat. That's one of the reasons why this has taken as long. This reveal has taken so long, because of that threat that's been there, and a lot of people don't want to go against that. So I can tell you that a lot of those people that were in charge of that have been removed quietly, and that although that threat is still there, because there's layers, just like in the special forces, the most junior guy can pick up and take charge. There's still people that are taking charge, even though key people are being removed. Funding's being removed. There's lots of different things, and so we're seeing, this desperate attempt with the border being, wide open. That's one of their money making machines that they had basically been squeezed for a long time, and they're desperately kicking that and trying to get as much money as they can from that. It's not going to be enough, because it's starting to be squeezed as Ron DeSantis is starting to send people there, and the governor of Texas says he's going to start building the wall, that was stopped. So there's, now the legal process, although it's very slow, once those wheels start turning, they grind everything up. All right, so there's a lot of people are falling under that wheel and getting ground up right now, and more will come. So that I think is one of the biggest things, stopping their money making machine from getting active again. Of course, they're going to try a lot of different things. So I see that we see they're trying to sweet talk Putin because they think they're going to bring him into the fold. It's not going to happen. He'll play him like he's been playing him for a long time. So they gave him access to pipeline to go over and smooge him. Yeah, join our team and we'll give you all the blah blah blah. And he's like, yeah, we'll see. So they're desperate. They're totally desperate, and they're out in the open with that. Trying to spoosh him, and then and in the other end, they're trying to shut down everything else. So they're trying to help their Iranian. I guess we're getting shipments from Iranian oil now here in America. So we were exporting, not just a few months ago, we were exporting oil for the first time since the 70s, and now we're back to taking imports in again. So it's very frustrating to see that, but it's okay, you guys keep playing your games where you're being exposed left and right. So we hear from people all the time, when are we going to see it? It's so much is out there being exposed. It's like deafening to me, and it's visually, it's blinding almost. I can't see how people are not seeing it and hearing it. It's so amazing what's going on right now. The squeeze that they're going under. So if you can't see it, just trust us. It's happening, you know?
Absolutely. And there are Starlink's satellites all ready to go. Could you tell us more about what the Starlink satellites will be responsible for, what it will be replacing,
Mm.
please?
So the internet is corrupted. They can't, there's been lots of attempts to, start other social media sites. They've been suppressed because it's a system that's basically completely corrupted. And they know all the different ways to, manipulate it, to come in and, make money from it in different ways, holding people ransomware with the internet, protocols that we saw, when they shut down the pipeline system on the East Coast of the United States. So they have control of that system. So they'll do whatever they want with it. And they're saying, oh, it's the Russians. And they know good and well it's not the Russians. They're doing it. And when I hear their talking heads come out and talk about how the Russians need to be held accountable, I'm like, another one, check that box. You're corrupt too. You're corrupt. You're corrupt. You're corrupt. So it's that's what I see. I know what this is all about. And then when I hear someone come out and promote that negative agenda, it's like, okay, you're on the bad guy's side, or you're being misinformed and you're going along with it. So which one is it? Now, some of these people have been around long enough to know better. So it's basically they're on board with it. So lots of media types, go bye-bye soon. It's I've talked about that. I think some of them have already gone. I think they've taken away a few people already from the media and replaced them. And they're just basically playing the game while they round up more. So if they keep a game going in everybody's eyes, it's like, oh, the game's still continuing. But it's almost like if I were a sniper, I wouldn't shoot the first guy, the guy out in front. I would shoot the guy in the behind, and that's all the way in the behind, and then I just work my way up. that's what the military is doing,
Right.
and eventually the last guy standing gets taken down. Everybody's like, "What? They're all gone." It's like, yeah, because they were like working from behind and taking these guys down from behind, like we've been saying, and so it's obvious to me. I have plenty of contacts that keep me informed quietly. And so I'm not fretting. It doesn't bother me, that these guys come out and say that kind of stuff. So Starlink basically will be a satellite system that is the new internet. It'll be faster. There'll be more information that comes through. Then it will be like a complete leap. Like when the internet first came out, imagine that, and imagine that times 10 when that Starlink system really starts to kick. And it's going to blow all of our minds, all the stuff that we can do with it. The social media stuff that we're seeing right now will completely pale in comparison to what we'll be able to do with the new system that comes in.
Mr. T talks about his platform that he's launching, a social media platform that has been, talked about. Do you think that this is going to be so big because he has it all planned for it to work with the Starlink? What do you think?
It's got to be, because like I'm saying, they completely control the internet system right now. So if he tries to come in into this system, it would be like having like this beautiful swimming pool, and you need to put it's all fixed. You need to put water in it, and you put the swamp water in there, because that's what the internet system is. It's like a swamp. And he's not going to do that. He's going to put something clean in there. So it's got to be, Starlink system. Otherwise, it's just going to get compromised so quickly. It won't even matter. It'll be shut down, just like all the other systems that are out there. Monosavin system. On and on and on. All these different systems have been compromised, and that's from those three-letter agencies, not just here in the US, but also in the UK, that have control of those systems. They can come in and play their games. They have people within those different with all over the world that basically can come in and click and switch and put in a program that basically takes it all down. It's a total swamp. The internet's a swamp. So anytime any of us go into it, know you're going into a swamp, and know that whatever you put in there, they look at everything that's on there. They're looking at this. That's why if we talk something that's just a little bit offline, it gets shut down. They see everything.
So when the Starlink activates, what will happen to the current internet that we are using now?
Well, it would be like, dial-up, dial-up internet. Remember that? It's like it took forever. And then we finally got this new internet. We're like, oh, and then we get the cable, what is it? We got it. I remember we got it in Guam, and it's the glass, like the fiber optics. So fiber optics, like super, super fast, like boom, instantaneous. And that's what a lot of us are used to now. When we get something that's a little, not so fast, we're like, what is this? I got to get the fast stuff. And I think that, the stuff we're going to see in the future is going to be way beyond that. So instantaneous, so letting us do, information sharing and video and stuff like that. That's on a totally different level. Maybe even like, hologram stuff comes through. I mean, it's like crazy stuff. I believe it's going to be mind blowing, the stuff that we're going to see with that.
So would we, the public who's not aware of this, will they notice a difference when they want to log on, or will it just be a transfer of internet power to another source where they won't really notice the difference, but they can still go on about their daily lives? But like for us, we would know. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's going to be, it's not going to be a completely different system. We'll still be able to use the stuff that we have somehow. It's like, in California, they have, you can opt, or at one time you could opt for green power versus, not green power. And it was a little bit more expensive, but you had the option of doing that. You're helping, help the environment or whatever, however they promoted that. I think it's going to be the same thing with this system. Initially, it'll be, you can have the super high speed stuff, or you can have like the old slow stuff. It's up to you. I don't know if there's what the price is going to be. Difference, maybe price difference. That'll separate it at first, and then eventually it'll be, I think, available to everyone, just like it is now.
I mean, is it reasonable to assume that it could be free because it could be using free energy, Tesla energy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And he's all about that. And because when you're on there, there's lots of different ways to advertise now. You don't have to like, do your shows where you're, for us, I don't do a show where I'm just advertising the whole time. It's within my information, just like you put out at the beginning of our show. If you're interested in supporting us in any way, our links are here. And then we go on and do our show, an hour-long show. It's totally free. It's out there for everybody, anyone to, get this information. I think that's the way things roll in the future. There's more of that. There's more sharing, and people like us that do this kind of information sharing. We'll probably move to the top, top of the, information networks that are coming in the future, if we so choose. And that's it's not because we've been, supporting the good guys. It's because we've kept at it and we've learned this system. And if we got a really fair shot, we would have millions of subscribers, not, suppressed numbers like we have right now. So I think that's what happens in the future. The sharing of information, the freedom that comes in the future. It's always been about freedom. It's always been about, having the liberty, to make your own choices and your own decisions, and to be a free thinker, a creative thinker. That's all been shut down and suppressed. So once that liberation happens, imagine the world. I mean, it's just going to be everything's going to move at such an incredible rate. People that are creative, have the ability to create, and there will be people out there that want that creative input, and will be attracted to that. And that's how a free market system is meant to work. The people that have the best product, the best ideas, move forward, and the ones that are trying to suppress that, they get relegated all the way down the line. And that's just because that's the way the system will work. People that are trying to take advantage of people, like we've been seeing for a long time now, these systems will disintegrate very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Do you know if there is a group now of white hats, possibly working on creating a new educational system where we involve how to love ourselves, how to respect one another and morals and principles, financial structures, and opening up the pineal gland? Will there be, is there a group of people working on implementing such a system so that we can create a new future, because our children will be leading in the future? So is that in the works, do you know?
Yeah, it's already out there. There's a lot of free choice schools out there where people can go, and of course they've been suppressed and vilified in certain ways. But as we move forward, Trump was very much promoting that, moving forward. And then once those controls are back off again, it'll pick up speed like never before, because people are starting to see just how corrupt that educational system is now, and the people that are involved in it. Now, some of those people will completely, maybe some of them, might be even arrested, but some of them, I think, if they had the opportunity, would love to teach in this new format that's coming forward. Alex Collier had really good points on that. He said that the educational system would be more like the Greeks used to teach, out in the open, and more interaction with nature and so forth. And I know of a lot of teachers that have been doing that, and I think that they get rewarded. Same thing going forward. And when people are seeing that is what everyone's attracted to, it's like, oh, I want to do that too, and that's going to just open up all of those different fields in an amazing way. Same thing with healthcare. You'll have people that have great systems out there. They're already out there, and then people are going to be attracted to them even more when they can be advertised and not suppressed like they are now.
Absolutely. Now, even I was going to say, despite that, we've seen President T in his first term do amazing things that we've never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
We have to remember that he won the popular vote, which means that the Senate, he did not win the Senate or the House of Representatives. And they're all black hats, and cool, and they're just throwing obstacles. So whatever Mr. T wanted, they would just block everything, and whatever they wanted, then he would block them. So the only power that he had to override a lot of the things that he couldn't do with them was through executive order. But the only downside with executive orders is that they're temporary. Now, when the reveal happens, he's going to win absolutely everything. The Senate, the House of Representatives, everything. And there will be no more obstacles. And we will see Mr. T, a superpower president that we've never, ever seen before. Okay, despite that we think he's fantastic in the first term. So when he comes back, what do you think his first moves are going to be? Because I think it's going to be unprecedented, his performance in the second term.
Mm-hmm. So the economic system is the lifeblood, and it's the lifeblood of the deep state. So their Federal Reserve and stuff like that, he was already taking that down. I think that continues. Move to a quantum financial system, and that basically starts to filter out into everything else, into education, into healthcare, all the different systems that have been corrupted by that financial system. The banking institutions, they're already starting to see that, their time is limited from that old, staying with that old system. I already see them going into some of the quantum stuff. They're going into cryptos and stuff like that. So there's movement already afoot, because cryptos, they can't manipulate that money like they do the fiat money. They fractionalize the fiat money and lend it out and lend it out and lend it out and lend it out, and it's ridiculous. What they've been able to do with that stuff. So once that system collapses, then there's more money magically available. A lot of people don't realize, how much of money has been suppressed through that, money magic system that they have. And once that's all, once that collapses and the quantum system comes in, it allows for, just like we're talking about now, this free thinking, this creative way to move ideas, but also creative ways to move money. And I'm not talking about creative like negative. I'm talking about creative, very, very positive ways to move money. And that opens up, like we talked about, people that are, have been, they've had unbelievable ideas, whether they be, energy ideas, free energy types, and this quantum healing that will come out, all the different things, that quantum education, there's, thinking quantum, thinking with a quantum mind. And we keep talking about how people need to go into this quantum thinking about, stop, going with the negative press and, all these different politicians that are very negative, and creating these systems that, keep real, negativity going. They keep yelling how everything is, it's racist, it's racist this, it's racist that. It's like, Donald Trump did this. It's like, no, Donald Trump didn't bring in, the virus. And so anyway, they keep finding excuses and making these lies. Once the quantum system comes in, it all gets exposed like instantaneously. And it's very, very obvious. It'd be like, coming to the kitchen, you turn on the light and you see the roaches scatter, so you're like, oh, I gotta get somebody to come in and take care of that, disinfectant. So that's what we start to see instantaneously when these quantum systems come in. We see all the darkness, and we're like, oh, we got to fix that. And a lot of people just don't realize, just how corrupt these systems are. We talked. A lot of us have talked about, many people that have been involved in very horrendous things, dealing with children and so forth. So once all these things, more and more people are waking up to that. But once all these things are exposed, people are like, we're never going back to that again, and they'll never manipulate us back into that.
Absolutely, because we should learn from this lesson big time, bigly,
Mm-hmm.
like Mr. T likes to say, So, when you
Exactly.
speak about the finances and, so much wealth is going to be exposed, and there's going to be so much abundance for us all. At that instance, what do you think would happen with inflation?
Yeah, I don't see it as a problem. I think inflation is created when you're pumping money into a system, and then in hyperinflating, like the Federal Reserve is here in America. The reason why the prices of housing is skyrocketing right now is because they're buying up mortgages to the tune of billions and billions of dollars worth of mortgages, while they pump money into the system. So it's a hyperinflationary game they like to play. They played it back in 2008, 2009, and they shut down a lot of the industries that that normally wouldn't be taxing people, like gas is a tax on someone, whether you're poor or not, when they up the price of fuel, and they get it I've never seen it like they have now. So I have a high performance vehicle, and I have to have premium gasoline. Premium gasoline used to be like, maybe 20 cents more than, the regular gas. Now it's almost $1 more. So everyone is getting soaked all the way up and down the chain. So this is another way that they tax people without raising taxes. And it's always been very frustrating to me. And this time they're getting away with it like I've never seen it before. And it's very, very frustrating. I know in Europe, it was unbelievable the way they, did the gas. I was in Libya. Gas was 50 cents a gallon, and just a short step and a hop away in Europe, it's like $4 a gallon, or $5 a gallon. It's like whatever it was, not liters, but gallons. So I don't know what the difference is in liters, but yeah, it's very, very insane the way they inflate these prices to basically, tax us in a way that, we have no say. We have to drive, we have to get around, we have to whether you have a car, whether you take a cab, whether you take, public transportation, whatever, there's still going to be these, they raise the prices on everything. It costs more to ship goods in. So the price of, food goes up, and on and on and on.
Absolutely. I mean, once the people find out actually just how bad the corruption is, they will feel like we've been living in a house full of criminals.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I've known that for a long time. I've seen
Yeah,
that.
I know it's like second nature for us. It's, especially you who's been in there. All you know is that it's natural to you, but to other people, it's like really, it's unbelievable. But it has to come out, and we've got such a beautiful world coming towards, to our future, which we should be so happy about, and so happy to be alive to see this.
Oh, I am too. Yeah. It's absolutely amazing. And every day, every time that I have one of these conversations, it always ends like all of us see this like amazing future coming for ourselves, and it's although it's frustrating, some of the stuff that's going on right now, it's very illusory, to me. All the negativity, it's like, but we have such a grand, unbelievably beautiful world coming. Don't focus on that, because it is if you focus, whatever you focus on is what you bring into your life. So people want to focus on all the negative things that are happening right now, because there's plenty of them. Then they're going to be in that world, and I don't choose to focus on that. I'm aware of them. I'm very observant. I see everything, and but it doesn't trap me. It doesn't pull my consciousness in that direction. And that's one of the things in a quantum world that we're moving into. We stay very, very positive, very focused on creating the kind of reality that we want, and that's what we do.
Absolutely. It's like you're aware of the matrix, but I'm not going to live inside it, but I can see it from here, and I'm happy where I'm standing.
Absolutely.
Well, Michael, it's been absolutely wonderful having you on, and I really enjoyed our conversation. Is there anything that you'd like to say to the listeners before we finish?
Yeah, I mean, you've had some really good guests on, and we have been talking about the love vibration for a long time. So it's good to see that other people are starting to acknowledge, how powerful that is and how important that is, as we stay in that, centered in that consciousness, because that consciousness basically lifts us out of this oppression, and it takes away the power that people that are trying to keep us in a lower vibration have. And so just that alone should give you motivation, but also it inspires so much more in your life, and it's a great way to live. I used to be a warrior for a long time, so I felt I had to be hard. Once I learned that I was even more effective as a warrior when I went into the love vibration, wow, it just took me to so much greater levels, and increased my abilities, and the consciousness, like I talk about in remote view and all that kind of stuff. It's unbelievable. So yeah, love vibration, stay in the love vibration.
Michael, thank you so much, and we'll speak again in 2 weeks. God bless you.
God bless you too. Thank you very much.